Hi. Is anyone around who wants to learn how to make a skirt today? Right? So if you're watching, please share. Let me get my thing done while you guys join. Hello. Can you hear well? Let me know if you can hear, if it's good. So then I can get started. I think my connection there is fine. Yeah. So, hello, welcome to Wardrobe School. Here's where you can learn how to make clothes for yourself or to sell. And is it good? Yeah, the sound is good. Thank you for letting me know. So, I'm Vanya, and today we're going to make a circle skirt. You know, like a full skirt that it's also called umbrella skirt. Um, so, oh, hi Rob, you're on YouTube. Okay, so everything is good. Please share if you know somebody that would like to learn how to make a skirt. Send it to your friends. On Instagram, you can touch the airplane thing and send to whoever you want. And then on YouTube, you know how to share. On Facebook, I'm live everywhere, so please share. All right. Um, Today, so here's the thing. I have only 30 minutes to do this class today, so we're gonna do the pattern, and then after we're going to do the sewing part, okay, because it takes a minute. It is an easy skirt to make. It's great for beginners. If you have some little experience with sewing, you can make it, because there's no many steps, you know. You just, and once you learn how to make this, you can always reuse the pattern, and also you can change the pattern and do different things. And when I sew it, I'm going to show you how I do, because I don't want to do like a long skirt. I'm going to do ruffles or something. Okay. The thing about this is, oh, and I'm doing this for Camila. I hope she's on. If not, this class is going to stay, so you can Camila, you can catch. And it's just a few things that we have to do the pattern, and then later on we'll do the sewing. Okay. So you might think like, but I never done this. Yeah, you maybe a lot of people are scared of doing circus skirts because it looks crazy, but it's not. The only thing about the circus skirt is that you work with a lot of material, so you have to be mindful of that. You know, it's a large piece of fabric that you need. But other than that, it's easy. The rules are simple, and it just, if you follow it, you can make it. You can make for dresses, you know, with that. Once you have that the skirt, you can attach to a top. You might think, oh, Vanya, but this is too much. A circle skirt, you know, is a classic circle skirt that's big, and you might think it's too much volume. You can do half circle, and then you can use almost the same pattern to do a half circle, and it's awesome. And then you can also make dresses and stuff from that. Also, the same system you use to do a circle skirt, you can use to do collars, or even a peplum. You know, peplum shirts, when it has like the ruffle here, you can use the same process. Hi, Camila. Here's your skirt. So yeah, you can do, you know, so it's good to know this. It's a very useful thing to learn in sewing. Okay. And if you don't have much fabric, because it does, I've been, Camila asked me to do this a while ago, but I never have like a big enough piece of fabric. And I finally got this one, and I'm thinking of making I'm thinking summer already, you know, spring and summer. So I'm thinking of using this one to make the skirt. And I had a big piece. I got it at the thrift store last week. And I'm going to use this one, and I might do a two-piece set. So I might do like the skirt and then the top, and make a cute summer set. Can you make a circle and a half for folklorical? And what is best fabric? A circle and a half, I never heard. I mean, you can add what I've done and I've seen done. It's like you make the circle skirt, and if you want even more volume, you can do add more fabric in the middle. You know, those like angle pieces, and then it makes more volume. But circle and a half, I never tried. I didn't even know it was a thing. Do you do one-on-one courses? I don't do one-on-one courses, but I do have a course. So there's two things. There's my workshop that's free, and you should sign up if you haven't yet. And then next month I'm gonna open my paid course. That's a full course, complete with everything, and I'll help you guys with questions and stuff. So I'll be that for 2 months. The course is 2 months long. So just stay tuned, and when enrollment opens, I'll let everyone know. Okay. Yeah, and go sign up for the workshop. The workshop is going to be fun, I promise. So what do you need for the skirt, right? You need measuring tape or your waist measurement. Basically, you just need your waist measurement for this and how long you want the skirt to be. Then tape or glue, because we need paper. We're going to work with paper, a ruler, a straight ruler, and paper scissors. And a calculation, which I usually use my phone, and now I'm gonna have to do on the laptop because I don't know how to calculate. I should have done it before, but okay. So and then paper, and you're like, what kind of paper? So paper, I use this newsprint paper that's cheaper, and I'm always at the hi Edita. Awesome. So I'm always at the art supply store, and then I buy those. But you can buy just regular paper. Any paper will work, but you need a large piece. So in this case, I'm gonna have 2 pieces. And then I'm gonna glue them together. And you can tape them together or glue it. I love using glue, so I'm gonna do with the glue. Oh, and let me put the overhead for you guys on YouTube. There. Okay. So then I just attach those 2 together like that, which I kind of broke the angle there, but here it is. That's fun. I haven't made a circle skirt in a while. I have a pattern that I use, but mine, and there's something else I can tell you. You don't need to make like fitted on the waist. What I've done also is like you make the waist bigger, and then you gather, and it looks cool. Like it looks like a gathered skirt, but it's full and it's beautiful. So I'm just gonna make my paper bigger. And then I'm gonna fold in 4 parts. And also, if you're in rush and you're like, whatever, you can do this straight to your fabric. If you have some cheap fabric you want to use, you can do it. So just fold. You should dry a little, right? So I'm gonna fold this way first. And it's just about having the angles right. So you want to fold it very correctly here, as straight as possible. And then fold it again. And so you need to be, there's 2 layers of paper, and it could be fabric as well. Then put that on the side. And then it would be better if you're making like the full pattern here. I should have done 4 parts, okay? Because this is just gonna be a guide for me. I do a little different. Maybe other people have the whole paper. You have like a huge piece of paper, but because I live in New York City and I never have space, everything for me is like tiny. I try to make like hacks to do like fitting in my little space, so table and whatever. My studio is always tiny, so I'm not gonna do the whole thing. You could do like a large one, but I'm just gonna do a sample, and then I'll show you how we cut later. So now let's talk about how you calculate this. You have to have your waist measurement, and then you need to find, and then your waist measurement is the circumference, right? Think about it, it's like a circle, sort of. I know we're not a perfect circle, but the skirt's gonna fit as a circle, okay? And so mine is 29, I think. So just measure it. When you take your measurements, you never want to do like too tight. Okay, so yeah, mine is like 29. And then you need that, and then there's a little math, but it's very simple, don't worry. Okay, so you have to do, and I should write for you. So what we have to find is the radius, and the radius is this measurement here. This is the radius. So I have the circumference, which mine is 29, and then I gotta find the radius. Okay, and then there's a math thing. Let me find my Sharpie and I'll write here for you. The rule is, and this, I don't know who came up with this, but it works. It's pi. You know pi, 3.14 in Brazil, in Portuguese is pi. So you need to do the radius. It's equal your circumference divided by 2p. And I think on Instagram it's going to be backwards because it's the camera, you know, but you can see like this. So you need a circumference, and then 2p. 2p is 620. 2p, 2 pi is 628. Okay, basically you just have to divide your waist divided by 628. Okay, which is like this. So mine is 29 divided by 628. Okay, 29 inches. But there's a thing. I want to put a zipper on my, this would be the perfect, if I make a circle skirt that would fit in my waist. But how can I dress that skirt, right? I need to have zipper or some sort of closure, right? So then I'm going to add 1 inch seam allowance to my waist. So my waist is 29. I'm going to do one more 30. And then I do 30 divided by 628. That's it. Okay, so my final thing is 30. And can you guys do that the calculation for me? 30 divided by 628. All right. Or let me see if I can do here. I'm going to go online and do it. Hold on. 30 inches divided by 6.28 equals 4.77 for me. Thank you. You guys did it. I should have waited, right? Okay, so 4.77. 4.5 would be 4.5. 77 is almost 75, right? So 4 inches and 3/4. That is my radius. So that's the measurement I'm going to work with, 4 3/4 of an inch. If you are meters, you know, which is easier, then it's, you know, centimeters and meters. But it's the same thing. It's the centimeters of your circumference divided by 2 pi. So 628. Okay, you got it? Are you guys good at the math? All right. Then let's say this, you know how I folded this in 4, right? Folded in 4. And this center here, it's like it's the center of my body. So think about an imaginary, you know, when you do yoga and they were like, think about the spine and the center of your body. So it's like if a thread comes through my head here and go all the way, and this is the center. So that's how I'm going to calculate. And then my waist will go around here. All right. And so coming from my center here, which is the center of the body, I measure a distance of the radius, which is just what we found out, 477. But I'll do 475. Waist plus 1 inch divided by 628. Perfect, Naz. Exactly. So then I get, and I'm going to do it the Sharpie so you guys can see, but I never do patterns with Sharpie because it just mess everything around. But so it's just for you to see, I'll do that. So then I find my, look, 475 right here. And then I mark. And it has always to be this distance from the center there, right? Here here 475. Make sure you're using the same line, because if you come from the other line here, it's not correct. So where you mark here, you do like that. And even maybe the sewing gauge would be helpful at this point, or a ruler. 70, yeah, so if I did 77, it would be more safe, because then, you know, it adds up. Since it's 4 times, it might be tight, but tight is always easier to fix. You don't want to make this too open. Okay, then I have that, and you can use a French curve. I have a French curve to trace it, or just trace it by hand. The math is your waist plus 1 inch. So my waist is 29 plus 1 inch, 30. And then divide 30 divided by 6.28. That's it. So it's your waist plus 1 inch divided by 6.28. 6.28, 28, right? So go here. And then I just trace it with my ruler. Okay, that's it. Now here comes the funny part. Yeah, so I'm in the corner because it's easy because I'm finding the radius. I'm working with the radius. So when you fold in 4, I'm doing the radius. You see? So you calculate the radius and then you trace it. All right, now you were supposed to do the length of the skirt. So this is me, right? The center here. And then this is my waist that I just traced. Now I need the length. How long is my skirt? So the correct way to do it would be like, say on my skirt, how long I want a skirt? At least like 20 inches or something, like that. So for me, it would be at least, for my age, it should be longer, but it's like 20 inches long. And so I would measure 20 inches from here to there, from my waist to the hem of my skirt. Do you guys understand? Are you following it? It's like a math class all of a sudden. Okay, but because I didn't cut the paper big enough, I'm just gonna cut as much as I can. And then on my fabric, I can do as long as I can. And I also don't have this huge amount of paper, right? So the longest part here is here, right? So I just measure from the center here where I'm gonna go, 12, sort of, or like from here. The thing is, when you measure, you have to follow a certain angle. So let's see, 7. 7 is the amount that I have here. So it would be a 7 long skirt, but it doesn't need, it could be a collar too, or I just have this as a guide, okay? And I just follow my angle here. All right, so I'm almost done. Then I'm gonna trace the round shape that I just found with the curve. If you're good at like hand drawing, you can also do this by hand. It's not hard. Look, I mess up even with the curve. But this is important because that's what's gonna make your hem nice when when you're cutting the skirt. Okay, so sort of like this, and then you cut it. You cut here, but you want to add, don't forget the seam allowance. Math is what's always intimidated me from sewing. I know, but I don't use much math. This is the only one that you have to. Yeah, it's a short skirt. Well, it's just a guide, really. This is a hack, okay? And so because this, think about this, sits on my waist, right? This is the perfect size for my waist. And you guys know everything sewing, you have to give the seam allowance, is that extra fabric. Because if I want to sew a waistband, which I want to do in this skirt, I need this extra thing. So I'm going to add here like a half an inch, I think is good. Just a little half an inch seam allowance. You can do more. People like to do 3/4, 5/8. I usually do half an inch because I'm used to do in Brazil when I was Portuguese. It was like meters, and so it's usually 1 centimeter or 1.5 centimeters. Okay, then I trace it. And guys, you do this once and then you save it, and you can use for everything. Every time you want to do some sort of this shape. Okay, now I'm ready to cut. So I'm gonna cut my from the hem here. You can put a pin so you make it safe and it's, you know, it's like in place. And then the waistline, where the seam is, right, where the seam allowance. How much you need? Oh, you joined the workshop. That's great, Sarah. Thank you. How much in inches? Love yourself. Which part of the? You mean the seam allowance? Half an inch. And this length is just as much as I have on paper. And then when I cut on fabric, I'll do the ideal length of skirt for me. Okay, so here it is, the circle skirt. All right, but then, so if you're working with jersey, for instance, and this is like, if this will stretch, you can just wear it and put through your head. But because in this case it's paper, or it would be fabric like woven, I'm gonna make out of woven fabric, this one. So I don't want to, I need to put a zipper, right? So then I just cut here, which will be my back or the side, whatever you want to do. Yeah, seam allowance is half an inch. My video will be on IGTV. This one I'm gonna, thank you guys for helping each other. So I'm just gonna cut here because that's where my zipper is gonna go. All right, and then we have the pattern for the circus skirt. Remember how I added the seam allowance? So I have an extra half an inch on each side for my zipper. And then when I cut on fabric, and that's what we're going to do in the next class because I have to stop like in 7 minutes, we just measure as long as we want. So I know this is my waistline, and then if I want to like 1 meter from here, I can do it. And this is also easy for me when I don't have enough fabric and I want to, because when you, usually fabrics are not very wide. If you have a yardage that's like narrow, you want to add, you have to add pieces together. You can see when you find long skirts that are full skirt, that are usually pieced together. So I can piece it together. I can even do different colors. And then I have this as a guidance for me to look at it and be like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Okay, it's just like a thing for you to understand. And then the second thing we have to do is the waistband, right? And then the waistband is just a straight thing. And I like to, my hack with waistband is to make the waistband narrow because the wider you make, if it's not, they say like anatomic, if it's not anatomic, if it's just like a string, if it's narrow, it's easy to, don't go wrong. if you make wide, the wider you make, the more issues you're gonna have. At least, like, if you're not like a pattern maker. So what I'm gonna do is just take a piece of paper. And then what I have is my waist length, right? That was 29. My paper fell. 29. So it doesn't fit my paper. So I'm gonna work with half of that, okay? And 29, but then I wanted to probably do like a little overlap when you put buttons right there, you do the zipper, and then you want to overlap a little bit. So let's say 2 inches plus 1 inch. I'm gonna cut 4 inches longer than my waistline, so I have enough to play with when I sew the skirt. And so 29 plus 4 is 33. 33 divided by half. Okay, so 33 would be the length of my waistband. You got it? But then I don't have a 33 length here on my paper. So I divide it in half, and that is 16 and a half, right? That I can do that by heart. So you just do like that. 16 and a half. Mark there. And then the width of my waistband, I think for 3, I'm gonna do 2.5. I'm gonna do. So I do like here 2.5, 2.5. It's not super narrow, but I think I can make it. You can make more. If you make like 2 inches, it's gonna be hard to sew a little bit when you fold it, but it's when you wear it will be easier. So we'll see how we do when I sew. Okay, so let's square there and make the shape of this. And then I know this is place on fold. And then I can do the seam allowance or the grain line long, or I guess it could be like that, as long as it's not like in bias. Somebody the other day told me like you should cut the waistband on bias. I never tried that. That might be a thing, but I feel like it will stretch. But so now it's my waistband. I can do double. And you just need to cut one. Okay, so I put here cut one time. And that's that, guys. We got the pattern done. Look. With this, you can make a circus skirt, you can make a dress, you can make a bunch of different things. And then so in the next class, I'm gonna show you how to cut and sew from this simple shape. And also I'm gonna do the ruffle. Okay, so I'm not just gonna do a simple circle skirt. I know, Camila, I don't know if you're still there. You were trying to just make one simple skirt, but that works too. I'm just gonna add the ruffles because I want to, because I'm trying to do a design. I'm gonna do a 2-piece set, and I think with the ruffle will be cool. All right, guys, was that good? Did you like it? Was it easy to understand? If you have questions, just send me a message, and I'll respond to you. Send me a message on Instagram. All right, and don't forget to join the workshop. I'm not going to teach circle skirts at the workshop, but you're going to learn simple things, and then you can move on to the workshop or to the circle skirt. Okay? Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Hi, Jeannie. Thank you, guys. Let me go